Hey friends, and welcome back to the Be Fabbo Podcast, where mindset, motivation, and momentum all come together to help you build a business and a life filled with profit, purpose, and joy. Because my friends, you deserve that. We all deserve to live a life that's purposeful and have a business that's thriving to make the impact that we are here to make. Because after all, doing what you love should not just be possible, but it should bring you profit, purpose, and joy. If you're new here, I'm your host, Bobbi Brinkman. I come here, man, after many, many years. One of my greatest passions is sharing this podcast with you. So if you're new here, welcome. I hope this moves you and that you find value and that you leave here feeling better about yourself, about where you are and about who you are than when you first tuned in. And for those that have been hanging with me for many, many years, thank you for your continued loyalty. And both, everybody, thanks for sharing space, because when we share space together, even though it's just in our earbuds, we all grow and we all become better for the privilege of knowing there's somebody on the other end listening, going through what we're going through, not exactly the same thing that we're going through, but have been where we are and have got themselves out, have elevated themselves through hard work, have taken a step backwards to learn how to move on to the next chapter. So I thank you for being here and sharing space. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about, one of the things that always comes to my heart. I always try to come to you from a place of intention and a place of empowerment. And I speak a lot of heart with you all. And especially if you ever felt the pressure to do more, to be louder, to go faster, to go further, and to be everywhere all at once, I think today's episode will resonate with you. Because I'm sure you've all heard the phrase, let the work be the noise. So let's expand on that. Let the work be the noise. Let your energy be rooted and not rattled. Because friends, I don't have to tell you this, but we live in a world where the rewards go to those who have the highest volume, or screaming the loudest, or the more visible. We turn on the TV and we see the same people over and over. We open up our Instagrams and we see the same people over and over. Even in LinkedIn, anywhere that we go, we're seeing the same people over and over. And that imposter syndrome kicks in extra high gear, because it's like these people are everywhere and they're loud and they're vocal. And I think that sometimes we need to remember that you have the power of staying grounded and focused and aligned, even when things feel like they're going past you really fast, or that everyone is performing at full volume, or they're screaming loudly. I want you to remember that you have that power, and that power of staying grounded. One of the things you hear me talk about a lot here is I want everybody, and I want to help everybody, and I want to empower and inspire. And I know those are buzzwords, but here on the Motivated Be Fabbo, in the brand and the framework, it's just who we are. And it's not a lot of fluff. I believe strongly that it's strategy, because we all can achieve, and we all should achieve, to keep working on becoming the best version of ourselves. But I always say that while respecting and being grateful for where we are now. All the work that we put in, all the blood, sweat, and tears that we continue to put in, everything that in our past has got us here. And we need to respect and be grateful for all those lessons, good, bad, ugly, different, all those lessons that got us here today. We need to be respectful and mindful and appreciative in gratitude of where we are, while we're working on becoming the best version of ourselves. Not for anyone else, but just for us. We need to continue to become the best version of ourselves, to live up to the potential that's deep inside of us. And we may not even know what that potential really is, or how the story's supposed to unfold. We just have to go with the flow, and we have to accept and trust the process. And because we live in a world where screaming and being loud and shouting everything seems to get more attention, I just want you to remember that staying grounded and focused and aligned will help you move forward. The world is loud, my friends, but you don't have to be, because every day we are bombarded with those highlight reels. We are bombarded with the stories. We are bombarded with, look what all I did today. Look what I did last week. Look who all I'm booking. And I might be in this episode talking a little bit more to the entrepreneurs that are part of my clientele and part of the framework. But it really goes for all of us, regardless if you're working, if you're not working. whatever stage you are, whatever chapter you're in your life, I think we all know that we turn on the TV and we see all the things, the fastness, the let's get here quick. This is what you need to do before. Hurry up and get here. This is the quickest way to get here. Here's the fastest way to get this. And we see that people are chasing trends and following those algorithms and all the changes that come with the algorithm. And they're also shouting their wins. Now, again, part of the Be Fabbo framework and the Be Fabbo framework is celebrate your wins, big and small, pretty and ugly. Celebrate them all. But it doesn't mean we always have to be shouting them from the rooftops or shouting them. We need to be proud of our accomplishments. We need to be proud when we book a new client that we were going after. We need to be proud, and we want to honor when things are going our way. And I think it's perfectly fine. I use that word loosely to share. Look what I accomplished today, because that's motivation for somebody else that might be struggling. And they have followed you and they've watched you and they've heard your story and they see that, oh my gosh, Bobbi's been struggling with this and she just posted a win. Man, that's motivation for me. I can do the same thing. But listen, there's nothing wrong with celebrating success. Nothing at all. But if you ever felt like you're not doing enough because you're not broadcasting it 24/7, then this is the part that I really want you to hear. You don't need to shout to be seen. You do not need to shout to be seen. You don't need to constantly post or pivot or prove that you're doing something to just stay relevant. Another buzzword that we have in the world today is relevant. What is relevant? If I don't do this, I'm not going to be relevant. I once had an educator in the industry tell me that I need to be careful using the word relevant, and that I probably want to refrain from using the word relevant in any topic title that I was going to speak on or any keynote that I was going to give, because it showed that I was aging out. And friends, I am one of the OGs. I am in my 60s. I'm closer to the end of my story than I am at the beginning, but I'm in that sweet middle spot where I'm changing and I'm working and I'm looking for new ways to continue to find that joy. And I have a lot more joy these days because I don't feel like I have to catch up with anybody, or I'm not trying to keep up with somebody. And I don't know if that came with age. I've kind of always been that way. I've kind of always done my own thing. I'm not the most popular photographer. One time I was on the list of the top 100. And I don't even put that in my bio anywhere. But I have been told in my career as a photographer, if I didn't share more of the high-end clients that I did, I wouldn't be relevant in the luxury market. And I've been told that if I didn't share more about some of the clients that I have as coaching clients, some of the athletes that I work with, that I wouldn't be relevant. Because if I don't shout that I deal with influencers or high-profile people in front of the camera, behind the camera, or just working with them, I wouldn't be relevant as a success. So I've never followed that path. I've never followed that, man, look who I just did. Look what I just photographed. Look whose wedding I just covered. Look who just got in People magazine or any of that. I just continued to put my head down, smile, celebrate my wins, share my wins. But I didn't necessarily have to dig somebody's name up or put somebody's influencer's name in. I showed my work. I didn't have to say who it was. I was just showing the work. Because just because it's XYZ, does that mean I'm going to approach it differently? For me, it's not. For me, it's been, you're just like me. You may make more money. You may be more visible. You may do something different, but we're still human beings. And today I'm telling your story, whether it be a wedding, whether it be a business profile, whether it be something that you're changing. I'm just telling your story. I'm documenting it through my camera. And then I get to ask some questions from the speaking side of that. So I want you to remember that you don't have to be broadcasting that 24/7, that you don't have to constantly be posting about the things that you're doing. Don't be afraid to post, hey man, today I stumbled. Or man, I thought that I was going to book this client and those words we all love to hear, chose to move in a different direction. Because again, I will remind you, just because somebody did not book you, whatever niche you're in, does not equate to the value of who you are. They just did not understand exactly what they were going to get from you. They decided that what you offered was something they did not want. It has nothing to do with you as a person and your worth. So remember that. You do not have to constantly be posting to stay relevant. You don't always have to post positive things to stay relevant. It's okay once in a while to show people that you stumbled and that everything is not rosy on your end of the world, on your other side of that screen. Sometimes the most impactful move that you can make is staying consistent, and sometimes staying in your lane and grounded in your purpose. Let your values be your volume, not your count view or not how many likes you got today. And, you've heard it a million times, yet here we are, years later from when social media took over, that likes don't pay the bills, that likes do not always lead to more work, that you have to be doing something for somebody to resonate. And it's who you are, how you do it, and what you do differently that's going to have people resonate with you. And dare I say, keep you relevant, right? Quiet confidence is leadership energy. So can we talk about quiet confidence? It's not flashy. It's not performative. It's not walking to a room and demanding attention. It's walking in and being so aligned that your presence already speaks for itself. You got to know these people. Hopefully you're one of those people. You walk in a room and people go, oh, here's Bobbi or here's so-and-so. And you just come in quiet. You don't come in flashy and crazy and all that stuff. And I'm not knocking anybody that comes in there dressed in a, banana suit or comes in a flashy outfit. That's who those people are. That's part of their personality. I would expect nothing less for some of my dear friends that go out of their way to wear really flamboyant, colorful suits, or to show up with a different type of bag or a different type of shoe. Those people, that's who they are. That's authentically themselves. I'm talking about somebody that walks in and starts talking about all the things they just finished or all the things they did, and they haven't even asked you how you're doing or what your name is, or maybe even made an introduction, right? So that commands more attention. If you walk in and you're already aligned with who you are and what you do and who you serve and the work that you do, that speaks volumes, friends, because you're walking in confident. You're not walking in cocky. You're coming into a room authentically yourself because you have bet on yourself and because you believe in yourself and you know you're putting in the work and you're growing on your terms. You're finding success on your terms. You're doing your work on your terms and living your life on your terms. You don't have to fake it till you make it. I absolutely do not, follow that suit. I don't believe we have to fake it till we make it. I think we need to be us. The bruises, the bumps, the cuts, the scrapes, the tears of joy, the tears of sadness, all of that is such a stronger foundation to build upon and to build a thriving business and the purposeful life on. That's the foundation to build on. You lead by knowing who you are and you back that up fully. I'll say that again. You lead by knowing who you are and you back that up fully. And when you lead with that kind of groundness and respect for yourself, you will attract people who respect the energy that you're protecting. Make sense? When you lead knowing that you are grounded, when you lead knowing you're aligned with your values, when you lead knowing that your presence and what you do speaks for itself, you will attract the same people that have that energy that you're protecting, where you're not out shouting the loudest what all you can do. Your noise in the work that you're doing is making the noise. The things that you're doing on your own terms is making the noise, and you're protecting that energy. Confidence is not about being loud, but it is about being clear. Clear on your values, clear on your voice, clear on who you are, and clear on your vision. Performance over purpose. Let's go a little bit deeper here. When your energy is tied to performance or validation, your business becomes performance. You start your work for likes instead of legacy. You say yes to a job because of who it involves, or you say yes to a project because of who's included in the project or who's going to be working on the project. You start working for likes instead of building your legacy. But when your energy is tied to your purpose, then you stop chasing attention and you start building alignment. And my friends, that foundation will continue to have you grow your business and your life. And it will be strong because you are doing it from intent, you're doing it from purpose, and you're doing it to make an impact. not just in your own lives and lives of others and your clients and your community, but you're making an impact in the industry. You're making an impact on all those that you work with, that energy that you share. And that is what legacy building is all about. Not about how many people you work with or who you work with, but that you are consistent in showing up yourself, giving the best of yourself, delivering the talents and sharing the talents that you were given to make an impact. And yes, making a profit and a purpose and finding joy. Because you can have all three of those things. Just because you have a purpose does not mean you don't have profit. And because you want to be profitable doesn't mean you get rid of your purpose. You work on these together, and in that you will find the joy, and you'll be happy, and you will build that thriving business and purposeful life. So I want you to ask yourself, am I doing everything that I'm doing right now to be seen or to serve? Think about that. It's everything that you're doing, everything you're saying yes to, every post that you're scheduling, every blog that you're writing, every podcast that you listen to, everything that you're doing. Is it to be seen and be more visible, or is it to serve by sharing your gifts and your talents to elevate not just your clients, not just yourself, but others? Is what you're doing making impact to lift others and provide them with what they need to be successful? Whether it is a wedding event, an event in general, whether it is to get from point A to point B to solve a problem. Are you doing what you're doing to be seen or to serve? Ask yourself, am I sharing because it's valuable or because I feel like I should? What do you think about that? Are you sharing on social media and your blogs when you're at a networking meeting because it's valuable or because you feel like I should tell people what I've been doing? I should tell people what I'm up to. I should tell people what my plans are. The difference matters, my friends. Your impact doesn't depend on how often you post, when you talk, when you're networking, how many networking things you go to. It depends on how aligned your work is with who you are. Your impact doesn't depend on how often you post, the network meetings you go to. It depends on how aligned you are with your work and who you are. Remember that energy is one of our greatest assets. I've said it before. Our energy is one of our most valuable currencies that we have along with our time. Our energy and our time are currencies, and we have to be very mindful where we spend those. If you're pouring into performing, people-pleasing, or proving things to yourself, you are going to run out of energy and you're going to run out of time. When you protect your energy and your time, and you redirect your energy and your time, and you stay grounded in those, that's when momentum will become sustainable. Think about it. Protecting your energy, protecting your time. Saying yes to things that help everybody, not just yourself. Saying yes to an opportunity for growth, for yourself, for your business, for your family, for your industry, for your community. Saying yes to those things and having that energy for that instead of just chasing it, it will protect your energy and it will protect your time. Here's what that might look like. When you turn off notifications and you turn on your own intuition. Working from a place of clarity, not comparison. Saying no to what rattles you and saying yes to what roots you. Should we go over those again? Turning off your notifications and turning into your own intuition. Working from a place of clarity and not comparison. And saying no to what rattles you and yes to what roots you. You don't owe the world, your community, your industry, your family, even yourself. You do not owe anyone constant output. But you do owe yourself energetic alignment. You do owe yourself filling yourself up so you can pour into others. You do owe to yourself to become the best version of yourself while also being grounded and rooted where you are today. So let's do a quick recap or a reframe. Let the work be the noise. Let your peace be your proof. Let your alignment be louder than your algorithm. You're not here to hustle for attention. You're here to lead with intention. So I ask you, my friends, if today's episode gave you a moment of clarity, I want you to bookmark this. I want you to come back to this. If you're in a season of feeling rattled or overwhelmed, come back to this reminder. Go grab one of my pep talks. Go grab one of my, Motivated Be Fabbo. Go on to Instagram or go on the website, motivatebefabbo.com, and find a resource that can help you. Heck, send me a DM or send me an email. Everything on my Instagram and everything right here is there. My cell phone's there. Send me a text. If you're overwhelmed, come back to this reminder. You're not behind, my friends. You're still becoming. And sometimes the loudest growth happens when we are the quietest. And sometimes it happens in that quiet. That's what I have for you today, my friends. Thank you for listening. So again, if this has resonated with you, I love for you to share it with a friend that might be needing a pep talk like this or a reminder. You might be working with a client, or you might be working with your team members that might be feeling, again, that they are not working from clarity, but working from compassion or comparison. And they need to have more empathy with themselves. Share this with a friend, then tag me on social so I can cheer for you too. Because yes, I want your wins to be loud and your energy even louder on your terms, on your definition of success and how you define building a thriving business and a purposeful life. You're here, my friends. I'm so proud to share this space with you. So until next time, remember, stay grounded, stay focused, and as always, stay Fabbo, my friends.